Okay everybody, Dr. Rick here from Dr. Rick's Garage, working on our hot water heater on our 38N bounder. What we're going to do is we're going to replace the anode drain plug. The thing had a plastic drain plug, and this of course is in the hot water heater. It had a plastic drain plug in it. We had to pull the hot water heater recently because our mixing valve was kind of shot, was locked up, and we'd get spurts of hot water, but it'd be very short spurts. And what happened was, before we bought this, they must have cranked that down, and it locked up over the winter in the crank down position. So we had to pull it and get the mixing valve reworking. So while we did it, we're tired of, I do not like not having an anode in the plug. So right here is the drain plug in here. I don't know if you can see it right here. We actually had to make this configuration the other day as an emergency one because the plastic one was broke and we had this. So what we're going to do is, first thing we're going to do is open this up, make sure that we like this anode. This does have some bad reviews because they say this petcock comes loose on the end here. So we'll see what we think of it. But the anode, without the anode, these are usually made of magnesium, and what happens is the minerals in the water will start attacking the metal in the hot water heater. So what happens is your hot water heater prematurely ages, and we want to stop that. So I'd rather waste I think it was like $18, $19 from Amazon. I'd rather waste this than the hot water heater. So we'll open it up, make sure we got it. What we think is the quality. This is by Camco, and it seems to be the best one. Now you can put the anode without the drain plug. I decided to try the drain plug because we do winterize it, and it'd be a really nice fix for it. So you can see here that here's where the drain would come from, and this here would be open or closed. Usually this is the close. Yep, nothing blows through, and so it blows through. So most of the time I see that these would be the same thing on an automotive radiator or other type of drains, air compressors, but over torquing it and over tightening it is really what's going to be the problem. So with this here, this is made for a 1/2 inch. That's what ours is, 1/2 inch pipe thread. And so we need to go ahead and back up a little bit. So as you can see, these are the tools we're using here for the anode: a Phillips screwdriver, razor knife. I only have this here for us to take it use to kind of a little bit more pressure if we need it. 7/8 wrench, 7/8 crow's foot wrench, because we're going to probably have to see if we can actually hopefully get this worked in here somehow to turn this in. Otherwise we're going to have to try to take this apart up here. We have to take these screws out here. Can you see that? Okay. And anyways, various extensions. So the first thing we're going to do is work on draining the hot water heater. So we do that by taking the screw out of the cable. Can you see that? So I'm just going to hold this up a little bit and take the tension off of it and unscrew. So now my door comes down. One of the things that I normally do is I don't like it hanging. Mine just comes off like this. Now I can put it out of the way for safekeeping. So the next step is take our 7/8 wrench and get this to drain. Keep in mind while we're doing this, you're gonna get a lot of water down by your feet. Make sure your water pump and water heater is off already. And of course ours is off, and one way you can check is, you know, it's pretty cold water, but so I just take the 7/8 and One thing I'm actually gonna do right now, put a bunch of Teflon tape on here first. That way I may not have to let it drain fully. So as I screw in this way, I'm gonna want it to wrap my Teflon tighter. So I'm gonna go clockwise motion, 4 or 5 wraps with a little bit of a lap. So we'll stand back as I get the water to come out. Don't want to get sprayed if I don't have to. Just got sprayed. If we actually don't take the pressure off, that thing comes shooting out. So make sure you take the pressure off. You can do it through a faucet or just the pressure release valve. I've had that shoot out before and it was pretty miserable. The mixing valve for this, if you got questions, please ask, but it's on the very back, so we actually had to pull this whole unit. Fortunately, we were out of propane, so we didn't have to drain the propane. Anyway, so we're gonna see if we can get this to kind of swap out here. Again, we don't want to use that pet cot for any type of pressure. And this was just some packs that we had for a plug. Ain't quite getting it in place. There we go. So one of the problems with using the crow's foot, I'm actually going to hit right here. So I don't think it's going to make that bad. So we'll see if we can get this snaked in a couple different areas. There we go. Well, that's pretty good right there. So right now we're off. And you can see it's not leaking, but if we start screwing this in, so we're going to get a lot, it's going to be a lot faster to winterize, and we haven't had no trouble with the pet cot. Thing I would tell you is to get finger tight, and when you go to untighten it, loosen it, just go pretty much use something like that to loosen it. And then, you know, if you open this, it'll drain a lot faster. But so I wouldn't put much pressure. Don't take much. It's a very small hole, so it's not a lot of pressure. Anyways, so what I can tell you about this job, I think it went smooth. It wasn't a bad change. What do we have in about 15 minutes, Ethan? You know, it's going to save us time when we go to winterize it. We know our hot water heater is protected. Check those. We actually just recently got rid of our R-Pod. It was a 2017. It was only used for 2 seasons. Winterized the rest, and I'm talking like maybe a month of use. And the factory anode was mostly gone. And I'm glad that it had the anode because it would have been destroying the hot water heater. So we'll go ahead and get this ready to go back in. I'll show you how to pop the door on. So the first thing I do is I kind of line these up. Put it right there. I usually take something like this. That one's in place after a little while. Okay. So that's that piece, and then we have the screwdriver and the make sure the screw goes in on the side meant for the screw head. See how it's offset? Now ratchet and screwdriver, but you don't have to have that. Put it in the So our screw's about ready for a size bigger, but anyways, these clips are in. Everything's good. We got the safety off, pet cot closed. We're ready to go camping again. So sounds good. We're going to Lava Hot Springs this weekend. Give it a test. But overall, I do like what I've seen so far. And if anything changes, we'll let you know. Remember, like, subscribe. Remember, be positive. Support. You know, construction criticism's all right. We're doing this with our boys. Something to do, and you know, it's a learning project for everybody. So thanks again. Have a great week.